Hello, this is Mike from Cornerable Software. Today I'm going to show you how to automatically detect and prevent DoS and phishing attacks on an IIS web server. This tutorial builds on top of parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 of IIS log consolidation, monitoring, and reporting. In our last video, we left off sending a notification when we detect a phishing attack. In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure an IIS IP restriction action, test the action, assign it to the phishing monitor rule, simulate a phishing attack, verify the IP has been added to the website's IIS IP and domain restriction configuration, then finally verify the IIS deny rule is actively blocking all new requests from the attacking IP. To recap, we've already enabled IIS W3C logging, created a log consolidation template that includes a post-consolidation monitor rule, sends an email notification when an IP requests 3 URLs that do not exist or generate 500 errors. The next configuration step is to identify the website name in IIS we want to block phishing IPs. Then we need to modify the sample intrusion prevention system IIS IP address restriction action. Lastly, we need to assign the action to our phishing monitor rule. To identify the website name in IIS, open IIS Manager. Once open, expand the default server, then expand Sites. Once expanded, you will see a list of all the configured websites. Take note of the website you want to automatically block phishing IPs on. This is the value we will use in Server Manager to identify the target website. To modify the sample IPS IIS IP address restriction action, from the Object Explorer, expand the Root Actions node. Then expand Sample Actions. Then Intrusion Prevention System. Once expanded, you will find the sample action IIS IP address restriction. Right-click on the action, then select Properties. The Action Properties view displays. From the Action Properties view, the first thing we notice is a checkbox to specify a target server. If Server Manager is installed on the same machine as your IIS web server, there is no need to set this value. Otherwise, check the option, then use the drop-down to select your IIS web server. Use the website text box to specify the target website in IIS Manager. Use the IP text box to specify the key of the column. Since this tutorial is specifically looking at IIS W3C log files, the default value column name is C-IP, which we must escape with curly brackets. Use the Allow checkbox to either add an allow entry or deny entry in IIS Manager. If the target server is running on the local host, specify a test IP address, then click the Test button. Otherwise, if the target server is running on another host, the configuration involves several more steps. These steps are required because although advertised as a network API, Microsoft's IIS Web Administration API does not actually work when executed remotely. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I haven't been able to remotely get their API to successfully update a remote IIS web server. And even if I did, hardened environments most likely would block the network API call anyway. So all of that said, we have a solution. The Cornerable Server Manager agent enables you to execute the Microsoft Web Administration API locally. Since most outward-facing websites are either in a DMZ or in the cloud, remote Windows shares and remote WMI are likely disabled. If that's the case, installation is still very simple. The agent installer can be located in your Program Files directory under Cornerable, then Server Manager. The file is called Server Manager Agent Installer.exe. Copy this file to your IIS web server. Once copied, open a command prompt as an administrator, then run the following command. Replace Server Manager IP with the IP or hostname you installed Server Manager on. Once installed, open outbound port 21843 on the local firewall. You will also need inbound port 21843 enabled on the management server. Once run, wait 1 minute, then open the file. See Program Data, Corner Bowl, Server Manager Agent, agent.log. This file requires administrator access to read, so make sure to open Notepad or Notepad++ as an administrator before you attempt to read the file. Once open, scroll to the bottom of the file, then verify the agent is actively connecting to the server. Once you have verified the agent is connecting, you are ready to test your IIS IP address restriction action. Back in the Server Manager Management Console, click the Test button. Now, if you're using our new Keep Agent Connected option found on every host's properties view, the execution is immediate. Otherwise, the test waits up to 2 minutes for the agent to connect, at which point the queued action is pushed to the agent and executed. Okay, let's test this out. First, I'm going to show you the test when we are keeping a persistent connection open to the agent running on the IIS Web Server. Other than a DNS lookup that is failing because this particular server is in the cloud, the results are virtually instantaneous. To test without a persistent connection, from the host properties view, deselect the Keep Agent Connected checkbox. Once saved, the agent will disconnect within 1 minute. Now, back in the Action Properties view, when I hit the Test button, the results are not seen until after the agent reconnects. By default, the agent connects once every minute. If you've configured a longer connection interval, the action test will time out after 2 minutes. Notice we received an error. The error occurred because I forgot to remove the previously added deny rule after my last test. Once removed, the test is successful. Okay, now that we've seen this test work, let's test it out for real. Don't forget to set the IP value back to the column key. Lastly, we need to assign this action to our phishing monitor rule. From the Object Explorer, expand the target host. Locate the log monitor template. Then right-click and select Template Properties. From the Template Properties view, select the Monitor tab. From the Rules Controls, click the Edit button. Use the On-Trigger drop-down to select the IIS IP restriction action, then save your changes. Open a browser, then navigate to a page on the target website the number of times configured in your phishing monitor rule +1. In my case, I set the value to 5, so I need to navigate to 6 bogus URLs. The next time the agent scans the IIS log file, we will see the IIS log consolidation template trigger an alert. If I right-click on the triggered template, then select Explore, we can see the trigger detail. Back in IIS Manager, verify the rule has been added. Lastly, verify the rule is working. That's Intrusion Prevention System with an IIS IP address restriction action in Corner Bowl Server Manager. We will be releasing a Windows Firewall action shortly, so please subscribe to this channel so you can get notified as soon as we release our next tutorial on Windows Firewall actions.